Hello everyone. Today we are going to study sentence structure. In a normal sentence structure, what we actually read, that is the general sentence structure, which includes verb plus object, and every sentence it starts with a capital letter, and we all know that it ends with a punctuation mark. For example, here are some examples we can read that Aksel is a dutiful student. I clean my teeth and she sews clothes. So how many types of sentence structure we actually have? There are actually four types of sentence structure. The first one is simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. So what actually the simple sentence is? Simple sentence can contain only subject plus verb. And with the help of these two things, it can convey a complete meaning. For example, it can also contain an object and a modifier. Modifier actually expresses the meaning of an object more clearly. And in simple sentences, there is always one independent clause. What is independent clause? Independent clause is actually group of words that can express the complete meaning, or it expresses complete thought. For example, she plays, the earth goes round the sun. Now the word round is a modifier and it modifies the movement of earth. Then we have I am going to Rangers for vegetarian burger. Now here vegetarian burger is also a modifier. For example, why I am going to Rangers? I'm going to Rangers for a vegetarian burger. Next is they lived in London for many years. So this was the simple sentence. Now next we have in the sentence structure types, we read different clauses which are actually dependent clause, independent clause. We study different prepositional phrases and different modifiers. So what is difference between dependent clause and independent clause? As the name depicts that independent clause is the one that is independent. It does not need any other clause to depend upon. It alone can completely convey a full meaning, or it can convey a complete thought, or it can express the complete meaning in itself. It does not need any other thing to depend upon. It conveys a complete idea. For example, I love momos. Now this is a complete sentence that it's okay, we know that momos are loved by me. Similarly, next we have she reads many books. This is also a complete idea that someone reads many books. So what is the case in dependent clause? As the name shows that dependent clause is the one that depends on any other thing, on any other clause to convey its complete idea, to convey its complete meaning. So another name of dependent clause is subordinate clause. For example, the one that is not independent, or that is dependent on someone else, either for its money or anything, that then we says that he is subordinate to him, or he or she is subordinate to him or her. So same is the case here with dependent clause. Now we can see the examples of dependent clause, that is although I love momos. Now this is not showing the complete meaning. Now this sentence, this dependent clause needs an independent clause so that it can convey its complete meaning. And similarly, we have another example. For example, because he reads many books. Now, why he reads many books? So in order to answer this why, we need an independent clause. Next thing is prepositional phrase. Now the name shows that what is prepositional phrase. The one thing that we needs to remember for prepositional phrase, that is it actually answers to different questions like when, where, why, in what way, how, and how much. Like different prepositional words, like we have different prepositions, for example, in, at, for, behind, until. Now we can see the example so that we can understand the better way what are the prepositional phrases and how they are uses. For example, here we have I like spaghetti for dinner. In this sentence, for is preposition. So I like spaghetti is itself a complete sentence. For is a prepositional phrase, and for dinner it is explaining that why and when I like spaghetti for dinner. So this is answering to the question when I like spaghetti for dinner. Next is he reads many books in the library. Now the question is where he reads books. The answer to this question is he reads many books in the library. So in the library, in is actually the prepositional phrase that is answering to this specific question, that where does he reads books. So next, moving towards our second type of sentence structure, that is compound sentences. In the compound sentences, we have the sentence structure that is mentioned with the black text. Here it is independent clause plus conjunction plus independent clause. It means that in compound sentences, we have two independent clauses plus one conjunction. So let's see examples. The first one is I like coffee and Mary likes tea. So I like coffee is itself a complete idea, and Mary likes tea. This is also a complete idea. This is also a complete sentence. These both are independent clauses, but they too have mentioned with the help of a conjunction, like I like coffee and Mary likes tea. Like here, the two different choices are combined together in a single sentence. So it is a compound sentence. Let's see the next sentence. Here, the different coordinating conjunction is used. Okay, one thing here is that in the compound sentences, in order to put two independent clauses together, we actually need a coordinating conjunction or a semicolon. These are the two things that we need in a compound sentence in order to join two independent clauses together. Like the next example is Mary went to work, but John went to the party. Like here are the two different choices, here are the two different things, that two people went to different places. Like Mary went to work, so the coordinating conjunction that we used is but. We will not use here and or for yet so, but we will use but. So the next example is that our car broke down, we came last. So this is the reason that why we came last, because our car broke down. So next we will be seeing that how many coordinating conjunctions are there that we use in compound sentences. These are actually seven coordinating conjunctions that includes and, but, or, nor, for, yet. So these are easier to remember, so that we can easily remember that what are the seven coordinating conjunctions that we have to use in a compound sentence. So the third type of sentence structure is complex sentences. Now, what is the structure of complex sentence? Complex sentence actually contains one independent clause, then it contains subordinating conjunction plus dependent clause. What was the case in compound sentences? In the compound sentences, we were having two independent clause plus one coordinating conjunction. But here the case is different in complex sentences. Yes, this is called complex because its structure is complex. We have one independent clause plus subordinating conjunction plus dependent clause. Now we can easily remember the difference between compound and complex sentence, that in the compound sentence, we have two independent clauses that were being put together, that were being joined with the help of a coordinating conjunction. But in the complex sentence, we have one independent and dependent clause that are being put together with the help of a subordinating conjunction. So here, another thing that we must need to remember, that is a dependent clause, it actually starts with a subordinating conjunction or a relative pronoun. So it contains a subject and a verb, but it does not express a complete idea. Let's see example. Although she completed her literature review, then we put comma, and then the next thing is she still needed to work on her methods action. Although she completed her literature review, it's an independent clause. The sentence is complete and the idea is clear. The next thing is that she, the dependent clause, the dependent clause here is dependent clause. The first one, the part one mentioned in red color, that is independent clause, and then we put a comma, that is subordinating conjunction, and then we have she is actually a pronoun, and this is a dependent clause, and it is conveying a complete meaning. Now look at this, note that comma in this sentence, because it begins with the dependent clause. Now, where we have to start the dependent clause, before starting dependent clause, we have to put comma after independent clause. So, looking at the next example, because he organized his sources by theme, comma, it was easier for his readers to follow. So, same is the case here. We have again put the comma before starting dependent clause. Next sentence is They studied APA rules for many hours. This is a dependent clause. As they were so interesting. Now, as they were so interesting, this is not showing the complete meaning. So look at the subordinating conjunctions. What are the subordinating conjunctions? There are different subordinating conjunctions as in compound sentences. There were actually seven coordinating conjunctions, and we have many subordinating conjunctions like after, although, as, because, before, how, if, once, since, then, that, though, till, until, where, when, whether, why. These are the subordinating conjunctions. So the next thing is that compound and complex sentences. Note one thing, that as we are moving upward, things are getting more complex. We are putting different things together, and we are piling up towards the height of, complexity. So this is the compound complex sentence. What is actually a compound complex sentence, and how many dependent, independent clauses, subordinating conjunction, coordinating conjunctions, which things are there? So look at the sentence structure of compound complex sentence. First of all, we have what? Independent clause. Okay. Then we have subordinating conjunction. Okay. Then we have dependent clause, coordinating conjunction, plus independent clause. Okay. In this sentence type, you are having what? Two independent clauses, one dependent clause, one subordinating conjunction, and one coordinating conjunction. It will be easier to remember when we have all these different types together. It will be a compound complex sentence. Now look at the examples. John did not come. This is an independent clause. Because. Now because is a subordinating conjunction. He was ill. Because he was ill itself is a dependent clause. So now so is a coordinating conjunction. Mary was not happy, and now Mary is independent clause. Same is in the next example, like he left in hurry after he got a phone call, but he came back 5 minutes later. Same is the thing, that we have used all these dependent, independent clause plus coordinating conjunction and subordinate coordinating conjunction in this example as well. Now look at these. We have specify these different things with the help of different colors. Now, independent clause is mentioned with the help of yellow color, and comma or semicolon is put in pink color. Now we have a regular font, that is our coordinating conjunction, and it is mentioned in green color, and dependent clause is mentioned with blue italics. Now look at this. She completed her literature review, and independent clause, comma is put. Okay, that is subordinating conjunction, but she still needs to work on her methods section, dependent clause. Even though she finished her method course last semester, this is independent clause. So this was our session about compound complex sentences, and hope so you will have got the clear idea that how to study these things, and how we can differentiate between simple sentence, compound complex sentence, and these all four types of the sentence structures. And then we have read also dependent, independent clause, prepositional phrase, and a modifier. So thank you everyone for watching. Please subscribe my channel, and hope so you will wait for my next video. Thank you very much.